Hi, I'm Vanessa Franco. Welcome to another edition of PE Live. I am joined today by Brandon Thomas de la Cruz. I am so excited that you are here. You just put out a fantastic record, Common Miracles. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for coming by.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
So I'm just like, I love your music. I love your songwriting. How did you get started?
I probably started writing songs in college, probably when I was like 18.
Really? Like that late? Like,
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I can remember writing in high school, like having a journal where I like wrote down little things and kind of messed around on the guitar. That's when I started playing, was in high school, but I didn't feel like I had any like complete kind of songs until like college.
This forest is dark in daylight. Every tree is gone, though the shadow that the fire left cannot escape the sun.
Yeah.
what are like some of your earliest influences, like for when you were starting to write the songs?
I don't know. It's a lot of stuff. I mean, in high school, I wasn't that exposed to a lot of the stuff I listen to now. That's more influential to me now. Like in high school, was more like what was on the radio, like more like power punk music and stuff like that. And it wasn't until later that I like got more interested in like what songwriting is and paying attention to like songwriters, I guess.
Well, what were some of some of the music that made you pay attention to songwriting?
Really early on was probably like initially was Bob Dylan. Like my mom gave me a Bob Dylan record when I was in high school, but it didn't actually make sense to me probably till like my first or second year in college, and that's when I like connected with Bob Dylan. And then it kind of just went from there, opened it up into different kind of like folk musicians from around that time period and up until now.
Well, and you just have such a beautiful way of phrasing things, and you paint such beautiful pictures with your words. And you put out the new record. It's a lot different than how you did the last one. Can you talk a little bit about the songs on Common Miracles and how they came to be?
Yeah. So it was a 2-year process, about a 2-year process. I started writing it after I finished my last recording, like November 2010. And I wrote the songs over a 2-year period of time, and each one probably took like 1 to 2 months. The longest one maybe like 6 months. What should I say more specific than that? Like,
Well, you didn't just write and go into the studio and record. Like,
right.
How did the writing process change a little bit with these songs?
Yeah, like everything I've done in the past, I've always written a song and then recorded it, and then kind of ended up with like a collection of recordings over a long period of time, where this was more like writing them first, performing them over a course of 2 years, and then when feeling like they were like complete and tested and kind of formed that way, then I like went to the studio and did it all over the course of a week, so that they'd kind of have like a cohesive sound, even though they were written over like a longer period of time.
If I could make it to the payphone, I'd call everyone I know. But holding the receiver, I doubt anybody's home.
And even just like the music and also the themes and the lyrics of this record, like you were inspired by more than just music. I mean, we were talking about some of the poetry.
Yeah.
Before.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a few. I mean, I've definitely over the last. I mean, I definitely got obsessed with certain kind of poetry over the last couple of years, and kind of been reading through collections. And in the beginning, I was reading a lot of Yeats, a lot of Emily Dickinson, and then like it kind of turned into this big Mary Oliver thing. I was reading all her work, and kind of that was affecting my writing and my world view and that kind of thing.
So when you started like performing these songs and testing them out live, like as you were writing them, like how did the live experience shape any of the songs?
It helps with the live experience. Kind of you gain a kind of like awareness or self-consciousness when you're singing it in front of another person. Like a word or phrase might like stick out to you in a different way, and you kind of like feel like uncomfortable with certain things that maybe don't feel like they fit in right, and so you like become conscious of like, okay, what's working and what's not working, and then you go back and fix those words or phrases that could be more perfect or more like harmonious with whatever else is going on in the song.
At what point do you feel like, okay, the song is ready? Like, I feel like I've done everything I can. Because you are a perfectionist when it comes to words. Like, we were talking about this. Like, you will agonize over the words. Like, how do you let it go?
Yeah. Sometimes I never feel like it's done. Sometimes I feel like I get to a point where I'm so stressed out about it. Like, I'll have one word that like or one phrase or one word that I need to be perfect, and I don't like understand, or I don't feel like what it's supposed to be, and then eventually I'll just have to let it be. Sometimes like I'll have that feeling and I'll have to walk away for a couple months, then I'll come back and like relook at it, and then I'll like understand like what's supposed to work there. So it's definitely like just like an inner feeling, I guess, like a piece about it, kind of like an understanding of like whatever the mood is, and then when feeling like that whole mood is like completely captured, or something like that.
So what else is on the horizon for the rest of 2013?
I'm just finishing up like the album release shows this weekend, and so I have the main thing would be a couple months ago I wrote a collection of songs based off of one of my favorite collections of short stories, and so there's a song for each short story. There's 9 of them, and I've been kind of polishing those over the last couple of months, like kind of working out the phrasing and the music for that, and then I'd like to like if I can get it together, I'd like to record that by the end of the year, like in the fall, if I can get it together.
That's fantastic. What collection of short stories?
It's by an author, pretty famous author, J.D. Salinger, Catcher in the Rye. But he wrote a lot of other short stories that are really good, and one of the collections is called 9 Stories. And for a long time, I'd been wanting to kind of write songs that were in like response or just inspired by them, and so it kind of came together a couple months ago.
That's great. I can't wait to hear them.
Yeah. I'm excited about it. It has a totally different feeling because it's like the songs I wrote for like the last 2 recordings, they're all from my perspective, where this is like it's more from like these characters' perspectives, or like someone like watching it happen, and it's not really personal at all, which is kind of cool because it's different, I guess.
Well, where can people hear your music, and then when you have the new music, where will they be able to find it?
So online it's at Bandcamp, which the Bandcamp is brandanthomasdelacruz.bandcamp.com, and then I have records in a few record stores. Like I have in Costa Mesa, I have a few at Porta Sound, Fingerprints in Long Beach, Amoeba in LA. So there's records at all those stores, and then if you don't live anywhere near there, you can just order it online at the Bandcamp.
And when you say records, you mean actual records. You did a vinyl release.
Right. That was another big part of this project, was getting it ready for vinyl and going through that whole process. So I have those too.
Would you do it again?
Totally, for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to play some songs for us. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Yeah, thank you.